There is a video going around of Dr. Fauci, and it's very high quality footage, and the audio is really great. And it's weird. It seems like a movie, because it is a movie. It's being made by PBS, and it's following Dr. Fauci and the DC mayor, Muriel going around DC neighborhoods in 2021 to try to convince people to take the Fauci ouchie. And there's a clip going around right now that I think the producers believed showed Dr. Fauci to be reasonable, to be scientific, to be level-headed, and showed these residents of DC to be complete, just knuckle-dragging, backward idiots. That, however, is not what the clips actually show.
People in America are not settled with the information that's been given to us right now. So I'm not going to be lining up taking a shot or a vaccination for something that wasn't clear in the first place. And then you all create a shot and miraculous
Look at Dr.
time.
Fauci's smug
it
face.
Takes years to create vaccination.
Well, it used to take years.
Okay, it used to.
You know how many years were invested in this approach? About 20 years of science to get us to be able to do it.
20 years is not enough.
Okay, put a pause there. I love that guy's answer, because Dr. Fauci is speaking in a way that's very vague, and he's kind of blurring the truth. Obviously, the COVID vaccine had not been developed for 20 years because COVID had just occurred a year prior, after it escaped from the Wuhan wet market, allegedly, or more likely was engineered in a Chinese biolab. It didn't exist 20 years ago. It didn't exist 20 months prior to Dr. Fauci's commentary here, or thereabouts. So he's saying, well, the technology using the mRNA to do the whoosy-whatses with the jingamabob, that's been around forever. It's 20 years. And the guy is not having it. The DC resident, he says, yeah, that's not long enough either, bro. Like, whatever BS you're spewing right now, we just all know this is a new experimental drug, and I don't want to take it. Keep going.
It's definitely not enough for nobody to be taking no vaccination that you all came up with.
The only reason I'm talking to you right now, as close as we are, is that I've been vaccinated.
Right.
But if it allows thousands of people like you don't get vaccinated, you're going to let this virus continue to percolate in this country and in this world.
Something like the common flu then, right?
And not like
it's much more serious than the flu.
Oh yeah, totally, way more serious.
You know how many people died of the flu the last year? I mean, not this year, virtually none, but the previous year, about 20 to 30,000. You know how many people have died from COVID-19 in the United States? 600,000 Americans.
Well, the number that you all giving that died, that's once again, that's you all's number.
Put a pause there. This is brilliant. This guy, as Dr. Fauci is throwing out these numbers, oh yeah, this vaccine, it's 20 years in development. Obviously it's not, bro, because the virus didn't exist until very recently. Oh, listen, 7 bazillion people died from COVID last year. Well, no, what have we learned since then? We've learned that many of those numbers, many of the people who supposedly died from COVID actually just died with COVID. So they had advanced stage cancer, and then they happened to have this virus when they died. The virus didn't kill them. The virus can't be said to be the cause of their death. They just had it when they died. The extreme version of this would be someone gets shot in the head, but they tested positive for COVID. Okay, it's a COVID death. Well, I don't think so. That's pretty far down the list of things that killed that person. And this guy, this regular old Joe from Washington, D.C., is looking Dr. Fauci, the representative of science, right in the face, and he says, you're putting numbers out right now that I simply don't believe.
Yeah, definitely. Because when you start talking about paying people to get vaccinated, when you start talking about incentivizing things to get people vaccinated, there's something else going on with that.
Put a pause there. Why did Bill de Blasio, the mayor of New York, have to say, if you get vaccinated, we'll give you a cheeseburger and yummy French fries. Do it. Here, we're going to bribe you to take the vaccine. If it's such a great vaccine, if the virus is so dangerous, if there is no risk from the vaccine and it's so effective, why wouldn't people be begging, clamoring to get that vaccine? Why did the establishment have to bribe people? There's something weird going on here, as this DC resident says.
Something else going on.
It is something going on with
something else.
You're right. But I'm glad millions of people like me and most everybody here didn't get an. You know what their incentive was? Protecting their health and protecting the city. But I won't keep you anymore.
It's okay, because my incentive, y'all campaign is about fear. It's about inciting fear in people. You all attack people with fear. That's what this pandemic is.
Preach.
It's a fear. It's fear, this pandemic. That's all it is.
What is that guy's name? How can I get all my DC resident friends to elect him to city council? Because that guy gets it. The funniest part of this clip to me is it was filmed and produced to make him seem like the unreasonable one and to make Bowser and Fauci seem like the reasonable ones. And yet, given the facts that we know now on vaccine efficacy when it comes to preventing infection and transmission of the virus, what did Muriel Bowser say right there? She said, I'm standing this close to you because I'm vaccinated, so I'm not at any risk here. I'm not going to spread that virus. That's not true. We know that the vaccine didn't do very much at all to stop infection or prevention or transmission rather of the virus. What did the vaccine do? Eventually they said, well, okay, it doesn't do any of the things that we initially said it would do, but it'll totally reduce the severity of the illness. It'll greatly reduce risk of death and hospitalization. I know we've been wrong about all our other predictions, but trust us on that one because it's pretty much unfalsifiable. Yeah. That guy was right. Bowser and Fauci were wrong. On the death numbers, how many localities revised down their death number after COVID because there were errors in the data and these people who died with COVID were tabulated as having died from COVID? The regular Joe on the street got it. The genius scientists did not get it. That tells you so much of what you need to know about this current regime, which has lost pretty much all of its culpability because it lies to us all the time, and about politics generally. Regular people have a pretty good gut instinct. They might not have the most advanced scientific studies out of Johns Hopkins, but those scientific studies, are generally speaking a lot less reliable than the gut instincts of normal people who are well-formed and well-adjusted to the world. This is out of UCI, the University of California, Irvine. Terminator zones on distant planets could harbor life, UC Irvine astronomers say. These in-between regions could be prime sites for liquid water. In a new study, University of California Irvine astronomers describe how extraterrestrial life has the potential to exist on distant exoplanets inside a special area called the Terminator Zone, which is a ring on planets that always have one side facing its star and one side that's always in the dark. And the thing is, no, they couldn't. The thing is, I'm not even going to read the rest of the article. I'm certainly not going to read the study. No, the Terminator zones could not harbor life because extraterrestrial aliens aren't real. They're not real. And the libs, they love it. They're so fascinated by it. It made me think about how many completely ridiculous things the libs believe in. And yet they call us the gullible ones. They call us the fantastical ones. The libs believe in catastrophic global warming. It's going to kill us all in 5 minutes. The libs believe that boys can secretly be girls and girls can secretly be boys. And the libs believe in E.T. It's not real. There is. I know this is controversial on the right. I know my colleague Matt Walsh here is very pro E.T. There is zero evidence that extraterrestrial life exists anywhere. Zero. The best evidence they can muster is, well, the universe is really big. Okay. Yeah. Really, really big and really, really cold and really, really empty and devoid of life. The reason the libs have to believe that there's extraterrestrial life is because they have to believe that humans are not special. They have to believe that man is not made in the image and likeness of God. They have to believe that there's no real rhyme or reason to the universe, that there's no intention, that there's no foreordained providence. They have to believe that it's all just random chance. And if it's all just kind of random and it all just kind of crops up, life is just wherever it pops up because of certain material conditions, then they can lead themselves to believe that extraterrestrial life exists. But they believe in it to justify their own stupid religious views and their own false anthropological views and their own mistakes about everything in the real world. It is not real. Keep looking, guys. Good. I hope UC Irvine, I hope all of these liberal universities, I hope they spend all their time looking for ET on all these other planets so they spend less time focused on social policy here in the United States to screw up our society based on their similarly false premises. Good. Keep looking for ET, but we conservatives can know he's not real. The rest of the show continues now. You don't want to miss it. Become a member and use code Knowles, Knowles, at checkout for 2 months free on all annual plans.